La, 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 la. Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Matt, and I made it my mission to casually walk all the way through Tyria. Oh boy, this is gonna take me forever. Come on, dude, I'm recording a video, you can't do this to me. Don't get me wrong, it all looks great, but also no one really thought about anything. I'm completely overanalyzing all of this. Welcome to Hullbreak. It looks busy even though there's only like 5 players around. This game really has an obsession with huge metal structures. You good? That is so cool. The sound design is so good in this game. I'm actually getting the shivers right now. There's like a small city missing here. Maybe they said, okay, this is our history now. There's a real cool theme going on here. But like I said, I also liked old Lion's Arch. And I think I liked it more because it had more charm. Alright, next area. The Gendaran Fields. Or Gendaran? Gendaran? Oh, look at that. So these are char houses, for whatever reason. And these are human houses. Human windmills. With very out of the order windows. Kind of wondering. Also, what's with windmills in this game? Like, none of these windmills are just normal windmills. One very smart thing the devs did with this game is basically enclosing all areas with mountains and making them instanced to have the game run smoothly and stuff. But also, if you do that, I'm not a fan of making all these areas basically rectangles. Make it not as obvious, please. Oh no, a full moon, I'm gonna turn into a wereplant. Plant wolf. Still wolf. Do I want to go into the boring human village? I like the design of these houses with the windows and being in weird places. It's very visually appealing, but they would be so dark. It would be so dark inside these houses. Shut up. Oh. Oh no. What are these roofs? Oh no. Okay, so apparently these roofs are made out of metal. There's no reason. There's no reason for that. And that's so much metal. And metal is also heavy as frig. This would weigh down the building, wear it down faster, and it wouldn't really help. It would help with shingles coming down, but it's not that big of an issue. If it was, we would do this in the real world. But it's not. No one cares about some shingles. You place a new one and that's it. I'm sure there's someone on the internet will be like, oh, my dad died when a shindle fell on his head, and yeah. So I like this place. It's some kind of ruin, and someone decided to make a monument out of it. So someone obviously wants these ruins to be exactly the way they are and not be taken down by scavengers. And they want to have this fire burning on top of this. Can we see anything interesting in the distance? This weird... these are Tamini structures, so centaurs. I highly doubt that centaurs would build their houses on stilts. For one, I'm pretty sure horses have trouble with stairs. And second, why? Why would you build your houses on stilts? If there's a flooding issue, then yes, but it doesn't really seem that way. They're elevated enough. Then you have the problem of critters. In the medieval era, some silos were built on stilts, so rodents wouldn't get in as much, like rats and stuff, hamsters, mice. But yeah, I don't see it. Nice little fishing hut. Okay, never mind. It's half a ship. Is the implication that this crew crashed here? Where did they get this ship from? It surely didn't sail this river. I love drive-by fights. Walk-by fight. I really like the system Guild Wars has going on here with all the scaling that is happening. So these lower areas kind of still pose a challenge, but not really. That's exactly the way it should be, in my opinion. Like, if you are a super experienced fighter, but you get attacked by a wolf, it's still gonna be bad. Oh, what is that? Oh, that looks really cute. Ah, oh, what is that? Oh, that's such a great design. I love that. A quick editor's note. As someone who's seeing timber framed houses on a regular basis, the ones in this game look kind of off. The windows are tiny and not in frame with the vertical support beams, which looks a little clumsy. There are also not a lot of horizontal beams. But that's not necessarily wrong, depending on the way the house is built. In between the timber frame, there could be anything from wattle and daub, which is essentially straw mixed with dirt, clay, or even dung, to stone or brick. For the latter, you can probably get away with almost anything, including these windows. It certainly looks like the walls are made out of wattle and daub, but wattle and daub houses are mostly supported by their timber frame. I'm pretty sure it would need support beams, so it might be stone after all. As always with fantasy designs, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. This is another place. This thought process I had earlier, like when I played the game years ago. This is some kind of battle pit, and I'm wondering why it's out here and not somewhere where people would actually like to stay. And it's very likely that people would build houses here and stuff, like inns and taverns, whatever. So people would actually have a reason to stay here and watch fights and stuff and have a good time. Because otherwise no one would come, right? Or are they just all building tents? Also, these tents have no entrance. So with this fort right here, we have some different architecture again. If you compare this to anything else in the game, this isn't worth crap. It's just wood. A wooden fort, but with a stone door? It's completely the wrong way around. There's some metal scraps around here, I guess. All very, very questionable architecture. What are those? Those... I don't like it. Alright, Queensdale, baby. And the first thing that greets us is this abomination right there. Why? Oh, okay, so these farmers are working here, getting rained on all the time. That must be a pain in the ass. No one seems to care about the water. Even this guy in full armor. Aren't you getting rusty, dude? Okay, so this pipeline apparently is powering this sprinkler. Let's see where this leads. So far, so good. Remember that water always runs downhill. Except for when there's enough pressure, like in these sprinklers. So when it comes down here and goes into these sprinklers, that can happen. So it's not as stupid as it looks. We don't know how it's turning all the time, but it's plausible, in my opinion. So this pipeline goes all the way up here, through this building, whatever that is for. Okay, so up until here it makes sense, and that's where it's falling apart, right? So the water is going all the way up here. Why? What's pushing this water up there? Nothing. So this doesn't make any sense. If there should be something big here, some big contraption that's pushing water up this pipeline so it can run down on the other side and power the sprinklers. Then it would actually make sense, and that would be pretty cool. And around that, you could, again, build your story. So another missed opportunity, I guess. I'm just gonna put this out there. What if we would make this whole land like 5 times the size, and all of this forest 5 times the size, and then spread out all these traps and animals over that area? Wouldn't that make for a way more immersive game? And I think you would also not run into as many problems with people stealing each other's loot. Because if you have the enemies be further apart, then you can reduce the spawn times without it being a pain in the ass. Look at that. Normal goddamn shingles. And also turrets. Why are there turrets on this building? It's a stable, isn't it? It's just a stable. There's no need for turrets. There's no need for fancy stuff on this building. This is way out of place. Carriages. I like these carriages. They look really good. The red one especially. I like the red one. More normal shingles. Bigger shingles for some reason. Different ones. And also these weird wooden structures. But I don't mind those. Like, whatever, it's their architecture. That might happen. It's just like, there's a big difference between whatever, that's their architecture, and senseless stuff like turrets on a stable. I like the inside. The beams. Nice little attention to detail on the ceiling. Again, lamps. What are these lamps powered by? Like, there should be some way to get them down, to refill them with oil or something. But they still make more sense than other games that have torches. Because people didn't use torches in buildings. They never did. Torches burn for like half an hour at best. Maybe an hour. And after that, your whole room will be full of smoke. And your ceiling will be blackened. So, no, they never used torches. They used candles and windows. This is neat. Can go through here. Awkwardly huge door. Now that I say it, all these doors are twice my size. Holy moly. Look at these huge doors. Fun fact, I would take that information with a grain of salt. But I have heard that a lot of inns in the medieval times, they were more like hostels. And oftentimes, multiple travelers had to share one bed. So they would be far from this. They would be more like simple and shared with everyone. So you could technically end up sleeping in one bed with 4 random strangers, almost cuddling. So I've heard. I don't know how true that is, but for the poorer populace, I can see that, yeah. Also, what I've heard, apparently inns weren't actually that popular. Maybe for this exact reason. People often just stayed at random people's houses. Like, if you were living in a village in the medieval times, you would just shelter random strangers that came to your house, and they would share stories with you, and you would share shelter with them. Maybe they would bring something. Of course, everyone's different. Surely there were people who didn't want any random strangers in their houses. But also there were a lot of kind people who would allow a random stranger to stay for the night and rest their weary legs. So we are getting fairly close to Divinity's Reach, which is, in my opinion, a tad too big. It looks like a fairy tale castle, and I super like that. It looks so amazing. But imagine it was cut off about here. It would still look great. It wouldn't be as unbelievable. And the most baffling fact to me is always that it's standing on a hollow hill. In the end, it's still fantasy, and fantasy is always a bit over the top, so I don't really mind. I just like to rant. Also, I'm not gonna get my feet wet. I think this is my favorite animal in the game. I don't see how it would work, but it looks awesome. Ever since I played Beyond Good and Evil, I love flying fish. There was this huge manta ray, and I think also a whale in the sky. Just everything about Beyond Good and Evil was the best. It was such great design everywhere, and I loved it to death. I'm definitely gonna make a video about it. So I'm looking at this fort, and I think we should go check this out. I think this is the only human fort that looks like that. Okay, pause the timer. At least it's stone this time. It's also in a very good and defensible position. I am really wondering why they have a drawbridge on the second level. What does it do? What is this for? There's nothing to protect oneself from enemy fire. Oh, you can raise the wall. Oh, that is sick. I've never seen that. Never noticed. That is an unnecessary amount of ingenuity here. And on all sides as well. Holy moly. And then you got these tiny useless ass catapults. It's like this massive fort, and then there's the tiniest siege weapons behind this.
Do you think we have to go on patrol because the captain dislikes us?
Yes.
No. I think he just doesn't like to walk himself.
I see. Some tents. Army always has tents. And this is a single cell, I guess. Captured to mini centaurs. This is weird. This thing is weird. I feel like they would build actual buildings first instead of just having tents and building only a jail. Also, these claws on the fort, they don't serve any purpose. Like, I get it, fantasy designs and stuff, but functional fantasy is often even cooler than just doing whatever and not thinking about it. For example, you could have these very high towers and have something up there. Whatever you would need up there, maybe a brazier or the flags even. Why are the flags not on the highest towers? I feel like that would be the main purpose, to raise the flags even higher and show off. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go into Divinity's Reach today. Maybe another time if this video gets a lot of views and likes and stuff. I'm not sure if I like these half pavilions. I don't not like them. Oh, look at this bridge, gorgeous. Again, a lot of lampions, but it's a little unclear what they are powered by. Let's just say magic, because humans... So I've been told, humans are supposed to be the most magically capable race, so I guess they would be able to make these, more so than the Norn at least. Again, these pipeline shenanigans. Technically, you could also explain these away with, like, humans being very magically capable, and it's all human-made, and blah blah blah. They use magic for everything, they use magic to power these things. But then I would have nothing to talk about, so no, I refuse. One thing I really like about the human area is that there are actually farms here. I always found it very weird that, like, Asurans don't have farms, Char don't have farms, Savari don't have farms, Norn don't have farms. It's only humans who appear to eat, like, some kind of grain. All other races are completely sustaining themselves off of different stuff. Civilizations can only grow very big if they settle down. Otherwise, they would need to stay small. Like, imagine having hundreds, thousands, or even millions of Norn running around the forest, only eating deer. I mean, if it's like this, like, here's a deer and there's a rabbit and there's another deer, if this is actually the world, then yeah, sure, you could live off of that. But realistically, if you have millions of Norn running around only eating meat and char as well, and maybe fruit and stuff, that would be devastating to the population, to the deer population. Where am I even going? Can I get anywhere from here? Okay, I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna walk into the wall and then port down here. Walk from there. So this should be about the same height. So yeah, this style of architecture I really like, and I really think that it suits the human culture. It looks very old, not very advanced, but if they're a very magic-heavy culture, that makes sense as well. So basically, I like everything about this. I like the style, and I think it makes complete sense. And I'm not sure why they went for 15 different human styles of houses. Like, the thing I'm talking about is the houses we just saw in Kryta are completely different from these. These look like Mediterranean houses, kind of. Like all this white stone. And then in Kryta they look completely different. And then in Lion's Arch they look completely different. I would go for a more uniform look for my races. I mean, it depends a little on the region you're in. You can't have, or you shouldn't have, the same look for these humans with these houses like you would have with the same humans but in a desert. Of course they would build houses differently because they have different building materials. But this is the same region basically. It's still temperate climate, same region, same vegetation, same rocky, mountainy area. I see no reason why they would build differently, you know? I don't know who was first, the Tamini or the humans, but either way, why did they build like 50 feet apart from each other? Just build this fort overnight or what? Let's just say they threw that together overnight, or they had a siege where they could build it in the meantime, or something like that. The Brisbane Wildlands. Brisbane Wildlands. I feel like I'm losing my mind slowly. Okay, so one thing I really like about this region is the slow transition between where we just were. It was basically Mediterranean looking, kind of. And now we're starting to get the first palm trees and olive trees or whatever those are. Like the vegetation seems to be changing, but rather slowly. And then it's transitioning into this jungle area with all the Sylvari and stuff. Unfortunately, we are not passing any Sylvari stuff, so I can't really talk about that. I also don't want to talk about the Assurance, just because it would just devolve into an ungodly rant. Because the Assurance are just so technologically advanced and magically advanced at the same time. They can basically accomplish anything. It's like they're living in the future. It's like they're 2008 while I'm still 2008, you know? Who did that? Who was that? What? Every time someone's passing me at 500 miles per hour with their roly-poly, I'm like, okay. And I'm here, just casually walking, or angrily walking as it were right now. Sorry, rabbit. Oh, this is dealing no damage. I'm gonna get hit by this.
Maybe I was the illusion all along.
Another one. This has gotta be the most annoying area so far. What's really stopping this bull from just casually walking around this barrier? That's not a real criticism I have, I'm just making fun of it. And again, I like this interesting and unique vegetation they have going on here. Maybe we could think about why it's so sparse. There are a lot of explanations you can make up for basically anything. And you should always try. That's basically what you should take away from this video. For everything you come up with, try to give a reasonable explanation. If you can, then it can stay. But if you can't, then maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe you shouldn't have it, because it's dumb. Oh, look at that. We can port down here. We can see some Asura culture. So I feel like the designers of this game really went all out with the Assurance. If you look at these sparkly things in there, and I guess that goes for most sparkly things in Asuran houses, what even is the purpose? I'm pretty sure they mostly have none. They're just there to look sparkly and cool. And also, why not just make a ramp out of normal material instead of glowy technology, glass, whatever it is? Same with the lamps. That's the thing. I cannot believe humans are supposed to be more magically advanced than Assurans. Or more magically gifted. Nothing told me that except for the Wikipedia. Because these guys, they are putting it to use. And in human culture, you just don't see it. Yeah, I like muffins too. Finally, someone says it.
Hey, you look new to this area. You probably want to get a bit more seasoning before heading out this way.
Sure. I probably got some seasoning. I mean, this character is fairly good at cooking, as far as I remember. Bloodstone powder, does that count as seasoning? Oh, more buildings to analyze. I like these ruins. Those are neat. Wonder where they come from and why they are in ruin. For being the smart asses, the Priory really isn't doing a very good job at building fortifications. This must be the crudest one I've seen so far. Also, I just walked through a torch. See, for these tents, it actually makes sense that they're a little bit off the ground, so all the critters and stuff don't get in. Insects, spiders, stuff like that.
Vines have covered our only passages through
Oh,
to
that's too
Kryta.
bad.
We need them cleared.
And we're entering areas I really don't want to
There's an urgent
pass.
matter at hand. Can you assist me?
Yes, I'm on my way. Actually, there seems to be no event going on here right now. So, one final look at the architecture in this keep. I really like it. There's some stone, there's some wood on top of it, because it's quicker, cheaper to build. Really sensical fortifications. I wonder what they're building here. Also, what in the world is this? This is for airships, this is cool. Like a little landing platform. I would assume. This is another pretty cool area, I think. But as I mentioned in my video about the map, I don't think it's quite in the right place. Vines, vines. Oh no! Oh no!
Ready for more.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking die. Woo! Oh god. This is scary. Why are all these things appearing around me? I don't like it. Don't.
I'm neither here nor there.
Really went all the way. Why? Stop! Oh god. Oh, this is good. I think you can hear people with that. Yeah. Just the fact that there are random things lying around, like the skull, that you can use in combat, that's a great idea, and I wish more games would do that. Use whatever you have at your disposal. Okay, that's it. That's as far as we can go. So, I'm about this height. I'm gonna go down here. See how far I can walk from there. And then go into the Maguuma jungle and probably die there. Oh god. Of course it can't be just all clear for once. Ugh, great. From dust into rain. Gonna be all muddy. So what route am I gonna take? The annoying one? Or the deadly one? I don't want anything to do with the frogs down here, so I'm not gonna go there. So I gotta go up. I'm gonna go to this thing, whatever this is, and then I'll call it a day. That is my mission. Get to this thing and not die. I wish I could just fly right now. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? The effort that went into this. So I don't really have much to say about this area. Obviously it's all influenced by Mordremoth's magic, so it's all jungly and there's a lot going on. We can't really look at it from a world building perspective, except for what looks good and maybe what makes sense. I think this frog culture is pretty cool, like tree frogs. I think that makes a lot of sense. This looks very cool. This pathway with the glowing orbs as a lining, so no one falls off. That's really sweet. What is this made out of? Let's have a closer look. Yeah, we don't know. Something glowing. Something is glowing in there. We don't know what it is. There are a lot of cool ideas in this area too, with the mushrooms and all. The gliding. Also this bridge. Super cool. That music. It's so cool. So I've always been a fan of tree villages and floating islands and stuff like that. all these fantasy tropes are combined here, and I like them. I like all of them. I think this tree village is super well done. Oh no, there we go. Here we go.
I'm neither here nor there.
That's valuable.
Swarm. 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 By the way, again, this canyon looks amazing. And also down there. And also, I love these little mushrooms. Okay. I'm getting a little lucky. There have been no bigger events so far. Is that a single pocket raptor? Ah, the peace and quiet of the jungle. There's nothing really to comment on here. There are these airships, all impaled by vines. That's such a cool idea, like the vines coming up, impaling the airships, and then they just stay up there as floating second levels. The only thing that's kind of questionable is how to get up there. I mean, you can just get up there by when the helicopters come, but let's face it, we've probably all done that one jumping puzzle like a million times. This is gonna be really, really not cool. I think I want to take this slowly. Already too late.
Safe from harm.
Oh, getting lucky again. Nice. I'm such a lucky boy today. Did they remove the groups of pocket raptors? There used to be like 15 pocket raptors in any space where there's one. I think they pretty heavily nerfed this area, which is good because it was way too hard. Let's just drop down here.
I need help with this one.
Oh yeah, you do. Don't be so dramatic with the music, it was one single frog. Look at this great jungle design. Also, who built this bridge? Are the frogs building stone buildings now? And how does it even hold? Or is there maybe some ancient culture? Wouldn't that be cool if there was some ancient lost culture buried here? Maybe these frogs would have taken their ruins and learned from them and then basically built the stuff that they used to build. Okay, so if I'm gonna die here, which is probably gonna happen, I'm gonna call it a day. Okay, this is all I got. Uh-oh. Hey, I made it. Wasn't close at all. Probably could have played it better, but whatever. Oh god, what's happening now? Almost there, almost there. The last mushroom in my way. Last mushroom standing.
My pain.
I feel furious.
Sweet and steady.
Alright, I made it to this ominous pavilion looking thing on the map. I'm here. Yes, you're home, you're a good boy. So, coming back to the original idea of this video series, it took me about 2 hours and 40 minutes to casually walk all the way across Tyria. Now, how far would that be if we translate that to the real world? Well, as you can imagine, not very far. Originally, my idea was to compare it to the Camino de Santiago, also known as the Way of St. James in English, starting in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Unfortunately, if we look at Google Maps, we won't even make it halfway to the next big city. So let's compare it to a smaller size map. So what if we start in Brooklyn and just walk through New York, like maybe here-ish? Well, that only takes us 13 hours. So maybe let's just try walking down the road. And as you can see, that about works. So if we're looking at it from that angle, Tyria is as long as Atlantic Avenue in New York, or about 8 miles of walking distance. And with that, my work here is done. I hope you had fun, I certainly did. Please don't forget to rate the video, and if you want to support me, you can do so on patreon.com/mattmuffin. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll see you for my next video. Until then, have a great time. Muffin out.